Dr. Liz, how are you?
Rob, how are you? So much is happening every minute of the day, Rob, every minute. It's unbelievable. But can I just say a few things? Because there
For
is so much
sure,
to
for
say.
sure.
I could spend
There's
like
few
hours.
people,
Um,
there's few people
okay,
also going to join us if we give few
okay,
minutes, because I think that
okay.
it just you. Let me just see who's with us. I think that it's you. Oh, Frank. Frank, how are you? Good evening, Frank. And I see that Jeffrey gonna join us any minute. Yeah, Jeffrey joining us. Dr. Les, if you give another few seconds, more people will
Perfect,
join.
perfect,
I think that
perfect.
they would love
Okay,
to hear what
perfect.
you. Otherwise, how are you all doing there?
Baruch Hashem. It's not easy. It really isn't easy, but Baruch Hashem. I sent you a video of a patient that I
Did
had.
two,
Yeah.
two. Send me two
Oh,
video.
the other one is of von Schweitzer,
Yeah.
Yitzhak von Schweitzer. He's the guy that was came to South Africa and he Magayan through the Based In. Uh, uh, Robert, I'll give you just a quick introduction. He's 97 and he's only had two bar mitzvahs at the age of 97. So I asked
Wow.
patients and asked friends, why somebody who's from has only had two and not three bar mitzvahs? And when he
Yeah.
was 13, he was in the Hitler Youth, and then he joined
Oh,
the SS. And
really?
they came to South Africa. They came to South Africa. They got involved with Waverley Shul, they had outreach programs for alcoholics, and they had a very close kesher with the Waverley community, with the Rav and the Rebbitzin there, and then they moved to Keter Torah. And I spoke
Wow.
to Diane Rappaport, Baruch Rappaport. He was involved in the Garris. I spoke to Rav Kudstag. So they knew his background, but they never, he never publicized the background. So people like Hugh Reichlin and many others that were in Keter Torah from Waverley didn't know his background because he didn't publicize it. And only now, at the age of 97, there was an article in Mishpacha, and he's written a book. And Rabbi Lapin's ex-wife, Serena Gold, she actually helped with the publication of this book. It's unbelievable.
Mhm.
From
Wow.
yeah, it's just from German. It's the most amazing story. So I've sent you the interview. I was with him, Cholomaid Sukkot in Edgware.
Wow, amazing. Give us the news. I think that some people now join. I think that we can
Okay,
hear the news now.
okay. So on Tuesday night, it was Rav Doron and Shelley Peretz's son's wedding. It was in Yad Binyamin, and I'd spoken to Rav Peretz's mother, Gail, because I really wanted to go to the chuppah of the wedding. They had it for the immediate family, and she was very happy that I was going to go. But my daughter Shoni said, "Abba, if you go, I'm not going to speak to you because it really was quite dangerous. Rockets are flying, and if you're in the open road and there's nowhere to go, it's being a little bit irresponsible." So they decided that they're going to have it on Zoom, and we managed to watch the wedding from the beginning till the end on Zoom. And I didn't go. And staying at home, we glued to the TV here, and we glued to phone calls. I've got a son-in-law who's been called up, and my brother's got a son-in-law. Everybody knows somebody, patients, friends, everybody knows somebody. Every single family here is affected by this war. Anyway, later that evening, we heard the news of this bomb, this hospital in Gaza that came under attack. Immediately, Sky News reported that it was attacked by Israel, and all the media was saying that Israel's responsible. Then there's a woman called Anna Botting from Sky News who had such a hatred towards Mark Regev, who was the ex-ambassador. It was amazing. That interview was so disrespectful and unbelievable. Anyway, about half an hour later, Jake Trapper from CNN also interviewed Mark Regev, and you see the difference. It's incredible. But Rob, I want to mention something. The BBC that is publicly funded by the British people, they do not call Hamas terrorists. And there was people have said, and it's gone to Parliament. They say, but there was an attack in Brussels a few days ago where 2 Swedes were killed. And they said that was a terrorist attack. But what happened to the Jews in Israel, that was militant, it wasn't a terrorist. So we see the duplicity, and we see, for when it's Jewish blood, it's not terrorists. It's unbelievable. A New Zealand museum that had the Israeli flag on the museum was forced to apologize. It's just unbelievable. But Rav, on the positive side, we had the British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. He was here today. He still is here. He's been incredibly pro-Israel, and also the opposition leader. He's also been very pro-Israel. The day before, we had the German Chancellor Scholz. He was here. And Biden's trip to Israel has been unbelievable. That was a Wednesday. Yesterday, also Biden's trip. And what Biden did is that they showed the Israeli army very soon realized that this is a major catastrophe, what happened at this hospital. They were showing all the images. And Mark Greger said, wait a minute, there's a good possibility that you are taking Hamas's word for it, but there's a good possibility that it could be a misfired rocket. And the IDF showed footage that it actually was from Islamic Jihad, a misfired rocket. And it's now been proven, and they showed the proof to Biden, and he came, and Biden said the USA intelligence has looked at all the proof, and it was actually a misfired rocket. Even Al Jazeera has a video showing this misfired, and it wasn't in the hospital, it was in the parking lot. But Israel took the blame, and there was protests all over the Arab world, here in Ramallah, all over. So, when you look at the news, and when you look what's happening, you always have to question. And the sad thing when it comes to Israel, they never ever question. They just take, if it's anti-Israel, they will report it. But we do have, and it's been incredible. We've got amazing, and I don't think it's happened too much in our history, that Biden came and he was a true friend of Israel, and also Rishi Sunak and the German Chancellor and many world leaders are standing with Israel. Which, if only we would have had leaders 80 years ago standing with the Jewish people, our history would have been a little bit different. So people are here the mood is still very somber. You go in the streets and people are very, very distressed. I had and I sent you the video, a resident of Sderot that actually heard the rockets, and he got his family out of there. They escaped the massacre. It's unbelievable. And the people here are helping. Everybody's helping each other. So we really see Israel coming together as one. And Bezrat Hashem, this week's Parashat Noach, it speaks about Hamas. It's amazing that it speaks about Hamas in this week's Parsha. So may Hashem help Am Yisrael, because we're going through a very difficult time. And Rav, I just have to end off saying Kol HaKavod to the Jewish community in South Africa, to the chief rabbi for actually admitting about the government when they pray for Medinat Yisrael. They will not be mentioning the South African government anymore. Ramaphosa has been disinvited from a major event because the South African government, together with their foreign minister, phoning Hamas to wish sympathy for the murderers, it just shows pure evil. These are really very evil and very, very corrupt leadership that they have in South Africa. So, Kol HaKavod, that the Jewish community in South Africa has stood very strong in the support of Eretz Yisrael and Am Yisrael. And it is so appreciated. So thank you, Rav.
Shkoach, Dr. Liz. We're going to start the show בעזרת השם, נעשה ונצליח, והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. בעזרת השם, I would like to dedicate the show in the soul of אסתר קדן בת קציה, מרדכי בן רחמה, הרב אברהם חיים בן אליעזר יעקב, תמר בת זהבה, יעקב סלומון בן פרחה, דבורה רות בת בילה, מלכה רג'ינה בת ג'ויה, קטי גורג'יה בת פרחה. Also, I would like to dedicate the show in the health of all those that got injured in that massacre, that attack on the Jewish people in the south, all of those that got injured from the missile, and כל חולה ופצועי עמו ישראל בכל מקום שהם, and especially to Menashe Naji ben Parha, Lior ben Miriam, Arav Moshe ben Bayabati, Arav Moshe ben Derova, Devora, Arav Shlomo Yehuda ben Dalia, Arav Avraham ben Marima, Dvora bat Esther, Sheina Keila bat Hana, מרדכי דוד בן לאה, חיים נחום בן פסח הרועה, הכהן, אהובה קדן בת טלי אסתר, ברוך בן שרה חיינה, צבי בן חווה, יהודה הלל בן שולמית לאה, משה אברהם בן חן אריבה, איילה עדן בת רבקה, חיה ציפורה בת רחל, טובה ליבה בת רחל, לאה בת רחל, חנה משה, רבקה בת זלדה, יהושע חיים בן חיה לאה. Please God, רפואה שלמה to all of them. Jeffrey, please unmute your microphone if you don't mind. We're going to start Parashat Noach. Rabotai, this Shabbos we're going to read Parashat Noach. Let's start with the beginning. The beginning, the Torah tells us, Ele toldot Noach. Noach, ish tzadik tamim, haya bedorotav. Et האלוהים התהלך נוח.
These are the offsprings of Noah. Noah was a righteous man. He was perfect in his generations. Noah walked with God.
Noah walked with God. Rabotai, we have to understand here there is a number of questions. Noah was a righteous man, the Torah tells us. Noah walked with the Almighty. The word Noah mentioned twice. All of those questions that we have to tackle them. What does it mean? Ele toldot Noah. Those was the offspring of Noah. What it mean, the offspring of Noah? So first of all, let's understand what does it mean, those the offspring of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, and then Tamim. I don't know, how does it say Tamim, Jeffrey?
Perfect.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay. It's a different interpretation to Hebrew because perfect is ma'ule. Okay.
Yes.
Tamim is more simple. Okay. But not in a simple way. It's simple that he followed the Akadosh Baruch Hu, whatever Akadosh Baruch Hu tell him.
Right.
But if it's a perfect, it's perfect. Okay, I just wanted to know. So let's understand. Ele toldot Noah. Those are the offspring of Noah. What is the Hidush here? That's the offspring of Noah. If you look carefully, how does the Torah end up the Parsha? V'Noach matcha hen be'enei Adonai. And Noah, the last Parsha end up, Parashat Bereshit, find favor in the eyes of the Almighty. What's the Hidush? What's the Hidush? So we have to understand what the Torah tells us. I saw a beautiful commentary that brought by the Ben Ish Hai. Ben Ish Hai is Rabbi Yosef Haim. Rabbi Yosef Haim born in Baghdad around 189 years ago in Iraq. Baghdad is the city, the capital of Iraq. Until 1948, by the way, was a huge community, great, beautiful community of Jewish people there that stayed from Babylon close to 2,000 years, because Babylon is Bavel. Bavel is Iraq. Okay? So since the time that the Jewish people been taken to exile the first time, after the destruction of the first temple, until 1948, was a huge community of Jewish people there. In 1948, the Muslim kicked out all the Jewish people. They kicked it out. It was the exile. Okay? And Rabbi Yosef Haim, that born around 189 years ago, he was the main rabbi in Iraq, but all the world used to ask him question. And you see that from Europe, the Ashkenazi rabbi used to send him question. He was very famous. He wrote a book about the Parsha, and he says that I'll tell you what is it say in the Parsha. Ele toldot Noah. Those are the offspring of the water of Noah. He said like this. He said that I'm going to bring you a verse from the book of Shlomo HaMelech. The book of Shlomo HaMelech that we're going to quote is the book of Proverbs. And the book of Proverbs, he said like this, in chapter 27, verse 19, he said like this, Kamaim hapanim lapanim, ken lev adam laadam. What does it mean? The same, like when a person look at the water, he can, the face reflected, his face reflected on the water, he can see his face. The same, a person that behaves to other people, the same how a person behaved to other people, that's how they behave towards them. It said like this. He said that something very interesting. Noah, when it said that was the offspring of Noah, Noah, what was his speciality? Noah treat everyone favorably. He showed favor to every person. What was the reflection? Everyone favored Noah. And that's what it said, Ele toldot Noah. It's come to teach you what it's tell you how the parsha end. How's the parsha end? The parsha end with that it say that Noah find a favor in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But he also find a favor in the eyes of a human being. And I would like to suggest my own interpretation to that, and I'm going to bring first what Rabbi Haim ben Attar. Rabbi Haim ben Attar, born in the city of Sali in Morocco, 326 years ago. In his commentary, he said like this, that Noah find the remedy how to find favor in the eyes of people, in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means Noah find the remedy how to be favored in the eye of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and human being. And my suggestion is that Hazal tell us in the Mishnah in Masechet Avot in chapter 1, verse 15, והווה מקבל את כל האדם בסבר פנים יפות. That means that you should receive everyone with a cheerful face. My interpretation to that how Noah find favor in the eyes of the Almighty and everyone, that because he showed cheerful face to everyone, that means that's the remedy to teach us. That's my interpretation. You don't have to accept it. That if you want to be favor in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in favor of other people, show cheerful face to everyone. Okay, then it says, Ele toldot Noah. Noah, ish tzaddik. What does it mean, ish tzaddik? Noah was a righteous man. What does it mean, righteous? We have to understand. And why does it say a righteous man? The word man is the key here. So I saw a beautiful commentary that brought by the Zohar HaKadosh. The Zohar HaKadosh on our parsha explained that actually Noah was from the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu. That means Moshe Rabbeinu was a reincarnation of Noah. And come the Ari HaKadosh, Rabbeinu Ari HaKadosh, and he said like this, and he says that the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu, whatever Moshe Rabbeinu had with his life, happened also with Noah. Whatever happened with Noah happened with Moshe Rabbeinu. That's Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luri Ashkenazi. He born in Jerusalem. He born around 489 years ago. And in his commentary on this verse, he explained, let me show you that the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu and the soul of Noah was the same soul. Okay. Say Ari HaKadosh like this. Noah have to go to the Teva. Moshe Rabbeinu also have to go to the Teva when he was a little boy. Noah been saved by the Teva. Moshe Rabbeinu been saved by the Teva. Otherwise, they will drown him. The Egyptian will drown him. Noah, if he wouldn't go to the Teva, he would die in a flood. Noah had to separate from his wife for those 12 months that he was in the Teva. Moshe Rabbeinu also had to separate from his wife. Said the Ari HaKadosh, from here you learn that Moshe Rabbeinu, the soul of Moshe Rabbeinu and the soul of Noah is the same soul. Also, we see something very interesting. In Sefer Shmot, in chapter 32, verse 32, what did Moshe Rabbeinu say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Imna mehenina misifrecha asher katafta. If you're planning to wipe off the Jewish people, erase me from your own book that you wrote. The word mehenina, say the Mefarshim, take the word mehenina. When I say the Mefarshim, that's Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzhak Luri Ashkenazi. He said, twist the word around, change the word around, and you get the word minoah ani, mehenina. Minoah ani, I'm from the same soul of Noah. Say Ari HaKadosh, I'll bring you another proof from the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu was the same soul of Noah. In Sefer Shmot, in chapter 33, now verse 13, a bit further, it said there, Imna matzati hen be'enecha. Moshe Rabbeinu say, if I find a favor in your eyes. What did it say, hen? Hen, if you take the word hen, it's mean Noah. Change the letters around. Nun, hen is het nun. Nun, het. Noah. Here Moshe Rabbeinu say that, hinting to us that his soul is from the soul of Noah. That's how Ari HaKadosh explained that Noah and Moshe Rabbeinu have the same soul. Then we say something very interesting. Ele toldot Noah. Noah. Twice the word Noah mentioned, one after each other. Why does the Torah have to tell us, Ele toldot Noah? Noah ish tzaddik. The Torah can tell us, Ele toldot Noah. Ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. No, the Torah repeat the word Noah twice. We have to understand why is the word Noah been written twice in the Torah, because nothing in the Torah, been written for nothing. So one of the interpretations that the Mefarshim bring, that Noah, not only that he find favored in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he was favorite, also people favored him. That means that Noah was comfortable, he was pleasant to the people here on earth and to the Almighty. That's why it said twice. Another interpretation that the Mefarshim bring, that Noah merit to have two things. The one, that Noah was a tzaddik, he was a righteous man. But also Noah was a rich man, that we know. And usually a tzaddik and rich doesn't go together. Because usually people that they're rich, they're not scholar people. A person that is a scholar person, not usually a tzaddik, because physicality doesn't mean anything to him, doesn't speak to him. So he doesn't run after it. The Torah comes to tell us that Noah merit to become a righteous man and to be also a very wealthy man. That's why it said twice Noah. In a deeper level, the Zohar explained that Noah have two souls. A human being usually have two souls. Noah merit to have his soul that here on earth and the soul on heaven, that both gonna make pleasant to the Almighty. And that's what it means favorite. What does it mean? That Noah done mitzvot here on earth, and those mitzvot also was in heaven. For example, let me explain what I'm talking about and what the Zohar speak about. For example, when a person put tefillin here on earth, his soul in heaven also put tefillin. That means the neshama that I have here is the physicality, but the spiritual reality in heaven, also the neshama getting a benefit from it. That means when a person put tefillin here on earth, the soul in heaven also get the benefit like I put the feeling in heaven. That means that when I put the feeling here on earth, the neshama in heaven also put the feeling. Come to tell you that the soul of Noah makes so much pleasant to the Almighty and pleasure to the Almighty that here on earth and up in heaven. Another explanation, and with that I'm going to conclude it because there is many more interpretation, that it's come to tell you Noah, the word Noah twice, that Noah when he was young, and when he was old, he always was a righteous man. That means Noah, all of his life was a righteous man. Because what's happened usually, sometimes when a person young, he's a bit naughty, not always he's a righteous man. When he get a bit more cop, a bit more seichel, he's understand that he was naughty, he was wild, maybe naughty is the wrong word, wild, So as he get older, he become more wise. Noah, all of his life, when he was young, when he was old, he was a righteous man. Some people in the youth, they was religious. As they're getting older, they move away from religion. And exactly the opposite. Come to tell you, you know why the word Noah mentioned twice? That Noah, when he was young, when he was old, all of his life he was a righteous man. And that's what the Torah tells us twice, the word Noah. And then it says, Ish tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. What does it mean that Noah was a righteous man? And then it says, Et Elohim italech Noah. And Noah walked to the Almighty. What is the Hidush here? I saw a beautiful commentary that brought by Rabbi Yaakov Sofer. Rabbi Yaakov Sofer, born in Baghdad. Okay, he born around 156 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. He was a student of the Ben Ish Chai. He was one of his students. He wrote the famous book of Halacha. I don't know how many of you know about this book of Halacha that's called Kaf HaChaim. Kaf HaChaim, when you become a rabbi and you want to know Ilchot, Basar v'Halav, you have to study most of it because he speaks a lot about it, okay? And in his commentary on the Torah, he tells us that the Torah here want to teach us how a person should transcend. What is it? How a person should grow up in his Yiddishkeit. And it's come to tell you that Noah gradually transcend. He didn't suddenly become a tzaddik. He didn't suddenly become, as it says, perfect, tamim. The Torah tells us at the beginning, Noah was a ish, a man. What it mean, a man? A man, it's come to tell you that Noah, first of all, follow the right thing, done the right thing. Whatever it's written in the Torah, you should not steal, you should not lie, you should not murder, you should not rob, and etc. Then Noah reached to another level of a tzaddik. Then Noah reached the final level that it's become perfect. That means Noah gradually transcend. In the end, Noah reached to the highest level, the highest level, that et Elohim italech Noah. Whatever Noah was doing, he was asking himself, is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu expect for me? Is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu want for me? Say Rabbi Yaakov Sofer. Here the Torah tells us very important thing. That when people want to become religious, people want to become to have the fear of heaven, not what they're going to wear, not the clothes, not the beard, not the hat. That's what's going to make them better. A person mustn't think that if he's going to dress like a Rebbe, that's what's going to help him to uplift his soul in Torah, to understand the Torah. How does a person become a greater man? Gradually. A person has to transcend gradually, step by steps. People can't think that today they're suddenly going to wear a suit, they're going to have a pass, they're going to have a big hat and put a capota. Suddenly they become a righteous man. No, it doesn't work like this. You have to work on yourself gradually, step, another step, another step, and another step to grow up. And that's, say Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim, what the Torah tried to teach us. Learn from who? From Noah. Look how Noah gradually transcends. And that's what the message here. Okay, let's move on. I would like to move to chapter 7, verse 1, and we see something very interesting there. Look what it says here. Jeffrey, chapter 7, verse 1. Okay? And look what it says in ויאמר אדוני לנוח, בוא אתה וכל ביתך אל התיבה, כי אותך ראיתי צדיק לפניי בדור הזה.
Then Hashem said to Noach, come to the ark, you and all your household, for it is you that I've seen to be righteous before me in this generation.
Here we see something very interesting. According to the Pshat of the Dvarim, we understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noah, please, enter the Teva, you and all your household and the animal, whatever, etc., that we know the reason for it, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to bring flood to the world, and by that, Noah can be saved. That's according to the Pshat of the Dvarim. But come the Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Hayim Nachmani, that we always bring his Dvar Torah. And in his book, Zera Shimshon, Rabbi Shimshon Hayim Nachmani, I have to mention, he born in the city of Modena in the north of Italy. He born around 318 years ago. And in his book, Zera Shimshon, in verse 3, they ask a very beautiful question. How come that HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to tell Noah to enter the Teva to save him? HaKadosh Baruch Hu can take Noah and send him to Eretz Israel. Why did he have to tell him to go to the Teva? We have to understand what the Zera Shimshon saying. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Zvachim, in page 113, folio 2. There it said that the opinion of Rabbi Yohanan. Rabbi Yohanan said that the flood never came down on Eretz Israel. That means that the Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he brought flood to the world, the flood never entered Eretz Israel. Say the Zera Shimshon. In that case, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to tell Noah, listen, enter you and the member of your family, okay, and the animal? HaKadosh Baruch Hu can make a miracle, can send Noah to Eretz Israel with the non-kosher, 2 animals from the non-kosher and 7 from the kosher animal. Send them to Eretz Israel and they're all going to be saved. Why did Noah have to go to the Teva to be saved? That's the shaila of the Zera Shimshon. He said, if it was no flood in Eretz Israel, why you tell him to go in the Teva? What's the hidush here? What's hiding behind? Rabotai, listen to the 2 interpretations that the Zera Shimshon bring. The Zera Shimshon say, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu would send Noah to Eretz Israel, what the people say? Noah is not a righteous man. You know why he saved from the flood? Because he was in Eretz Israel, not because on the merit of him he been saved. He saved because in Eretz Israel was no Mabul, no flood. He said another interpretation. You know why HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Noah to enter the Teva? Because when HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the flood to the world, in that time, it was a havoc in the world. That means the character trait of judgment was in the world. Midat Adin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show the world that Noah is a righteous man? How can he show the entire world that Noah is a righteous and a perfect man? By that he's going to enter the Teva. And the Teva going to be wherever there is Za'am Ba'olam, anger, the judgment. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to protect Noah and those inside the ark from all what's happening in the world. That's the main reason, said the Zerah Shimshon, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Noah, enter the Teva? And now we can understand what the verse tells us. That the verse tells us, Vayomer Hashem לנוח, בוא אתה וכל ביתך אל התיבה. You and your all of the household came into the teva. You know why? To show the righteousness of Noah, said the Zerah Shimshon. With your permission, let's move on to verse 22. And in verse 22, we see something very interesting that the Torah tells us. The Torah tells us like this: כל אשר נשמת רוח חיים באפיו, מכל אשר בחרבה מתו.
All in whose nostrils was the breath of the spirit of life, of everything that was on dry land, died.
What does it mean? So Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, he born in Troa. Troa is the north of France. He born 983 years ago. In his commentary on the Torah, he explained like this. And he actually bring in the Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin in page 108, folio 1. And he said like this, that whatever was on earth, the animal, human being, the birds, the flower, the trees, everything got wiped off, except the fish that was in the sea. Okay. By the way, just for general knowledge, Hazal say that except other two, one is a man and one is an animal that didn't die. Who they was, and they couldn't enter the teva because they was too big. According to the opinion in the Midrash, it was Og Melech HaBashan. One interpretation that Og Melech HaBashan later on come much later and he fought with Moshe Rabbeinu. And the buffalo, that means the oryx, the big buffalo, the big oryx. We don't have it today. And those two that also survived. So how did they survive? They couldn't enter the teva. The Midrash explained that the head was inside the teva, but the body was outside. But wait a minute, we said that when the flood came, it was boiling. Hazal say, Nachon, it was boiling water. But what happened? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he brought the flood, he brought a perimeter, okay, that the boiling water didn't touch the teva. Otherwise, the people in the teva are going to be boiled and die. So that's how they survived. The ram and Og Melech HaBashan. But come the question, and we have to understand, why did the Rashi, HaKadosh, bring the Gemara, the Talmud in Masechet Sanhedrin in 108, folio 1, and tell us Dagim Shebayam, that the fish that was in the sea never got wiped off in a flood? What's the Hidush here? So the Mefarshim explain something very important. That means that everything on earth sinned with bestiality. Everyone sinned. Man, lo aleinu, gone with animal. Animal gone with human being. Different animal with different. It was completely chaos in the world. And that's why the Torah tells us that everything died what was on earth. Come Rashi HaKadosh and say, except the fish in the sea. What does it mean? That it's come to tell you that everything human being, animals, birds, trees, grass, whatever you want to call it, all different kind of breeding, sin with bestiality, except the fish. The fish never sin. We always have his own animal, I mean, its own, what do you call it? Its own fish that he gone with. That means if it was a big fish, okay, like the whale or like the shark, those stay with themselves. They didn't go on with other animals. That's according to one interpretation. What's the Hidushim? The Mefarshim say that you know why the fish never sin in bestiality? Say like this, because in Sefer, in Parashat Bereshit, in chapter 1, in verse 22, what does it say there? Vayivarech otam Elokim, and the Almighty blessed the fish, לאמור, פרו ורבו ומלאו את המים בימים. That means multiply and fill up the water in the sea. That means from here we learn, okay, that the fish never change his kind. He always gone with fish. The Radbaz, it's Rabbi David ben Zimra. Rabbi David ben Zimra, born around 544 years ago. He born in Spain. And he lived during the exiles from Spain. And when he been exiled from Spain, they gone to Egypt. By the way, he was the rabbi of Maran Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, that wrote the Shulchan Aruch. And he says something very interesting. He says, we have a mitzvah to eat on Shabbos fish. He said, you know why dafka fish? He said, I'll tell you why dafka fish. We know that according to the Kabbalah, the soul of the tzaddikim get reincarnate in a fish. Why? Because fish is one of the pure, I don't know how you call it, animal, whatever you want to call it, that never sin.
Species.
Sorry?
Species.
Species. He says something very interesting. Listen what he said. He said when he was in Egypt, he saw a big, huge fish. Not a big, but he said a big fish that he used to follow him. And he saw that during the week, he never saw that fish. But on Shabbos, that fish used to come to that area where he was. And he used to see that he doesn't leave the perimeter of Arba'a Amot. Arba'a Amot is 2 meters. That means that that fish on Shabbos always used to stay in a perimeter of 4 Amot. That means 2 meters. But as Shabbos disappeared, I mean, moved on, and come the weekday, that fish wasn't there. The following Shabbos, that fish come back. He said, you know why you're eating fish? In the merit of that, say the Radbaz, Rabbi David ben Zimra. So now we can understand 2 reasons why we're eating fish on Shabbat. Okay, let's move on to chapter 8. In chapter 8, verse 7, the Torah tells us something very interesting. The Torah speak about the crow. What's so special about the crow? And look what it says here. Where is it? No, sorry, chapter 7. Yes, chapter 7.
Chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 8, verse 7. Sorry, chapter
Verse
8,
7.
verse 7. My mistake. Thank you, Jeffrey. And it says like this, וישלח את העורב, ויצא, יצור ושוב, עד יבשת המים מעל הארץ.
Right. Then he sent out the raven, and it kept going and returning until the waters dried from upon the earth.
Okay, what's happening here? We have to understand. I call it a crow, you call it raven. I think that it's the same. Crow and raven, it's the same. Am I right,
Oh,
Jeffrey?
yeah, it is. It is. It's one's blacker.
Okay. So it says something very interesting here. And Rashi HaKadosh, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhak, he brings us something that we have to understand what's happened. Rashi HaKadosh is saying that Noah wanted to know if the water outside got dry, if the flood stopped. What has he done? He took the raven, the crow, and he said to him, go outside. The crow refused at the beginning to go. And he had an argument with Noah. So what has he done? Noah ascended. The crow circled the teva and immediately come back. Say, Rashi HaKadosh, you know why he came back so quickly? Because Noah, he was suspicious of Noah, that Noah gonna take who? Mrs. Crow, Mrs. Raven. And everyone asked the question, Rashi, what are you trying to tell us? Rashi, please explain, what are you trying to tell us? Very interesting. Can you think that Noah, that separated from his wife for 12 months while he was in a teva, now suddenly, lehavdil, has v'shalom, gonna take Mrs. Raven, Mrs. Crow? What's gone into the head of the raven to say that? And the Mefarshim ask, here, please explain to us what Rashi tried to tell us. So one of the commentary that I saw is the book that called Avnei Ezel. Avnei Ezel is not sure who written it, but most of the Mefarshim explain that it's been written by Rabbi Alexander Zusha Friedman. He wrote also the book Ma'ayana Shel Torah. He born in Russia around 126 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, plus minus. And he explained like this. He said, I'll explain to you what the crow told Noah, what Rashi referring to. He said, Rashi, that the crow have an argument with Noah. I don't want to go outside. Why? Because you might gonna take my wife and you want to kill me in a flood. Okay, that's Rashi. Come Rabbi Alexander Zusha Friedman and he said like this. I'll tell you. Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Ketubot in page 49, folio 2, tell us something about the raven, about Mrs. Raven, Mrs. Crow. They say that the female raven, after she gives birth to the crows, to the baby crow, to the baby raven, she leaves them. She doesn't care who's going to feed them. She's very cruel because Orev symbol cruelty. Cruelty symbol the crow, the raven. He said that here he was the crow was thinking that Noah is exactly like him, that he wanted to kill him, to throw him outside, to die in a flood, so Noah can take his wife. He said that Noah answered him, told me, are you normal? Our eyes separated from my wife for 12 months. I'm not allowed to be with my wife. You think that I'm going to be with your wife? What's wrong with you? But the crow cannot understand that. Why? Because the crow symbol cruelty. And maybe that's why they call it also a crow. Cruelty and crow, maybe it's the same. That came to me right now. So that means that the raven was thinking that Has v'shalom, Noah wants Mrs. Raven. You understand? That's how Rabbi Alexander Zusha Friedman explained that. Okay, so now that we understand what Noah tell us, because Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Ketubot, in page 49, folio 2, said that the crow represent cruelty. That as the baby born, the mother leaves them and she doesn't care who's going to feed them, what's going to happen with them, just dump them. Amazing, amazing. That the crow that been fed, looked after for 12 months. Look how ungrateful he is. Rabotai, I would like to suggest something that happened 11 days ago with our cousin, if we can call him cousin. We feed them. We looked after them. We supply them water, electricity, all the supply, medical, whatever you want. We give them jobs. And still they're cruel to us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not like ungrateful people. And I'm waiting to see what will going to be, how HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to punish those ungrateful people. It's just a matter of time to see what's going to be the punishment. Anyway, let's continue to chapter 9, verse 2, because I didn't come to speak about politician. I just wanted to share with you that idea of cruelty. In chapter 9, verse 2, here it says something very interesting the Torah tells us. ומואכם וחיתכם יהיה על כל חיית השדה, על כל חיית הארץ, ועל כל עוף השמיים, בכל אשר תרמוס האדמה, ובכל דגי הים, בידכם ניתנו.
The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every bird of the heavens, in everything that moves on earth, and in all the fish of the sea. In your hand they are given.
Okay. Rabotai, what I'm going to tell you now, I saw it in a book that's called Tiferet Moshe. It's brought in the name of Rabbi Shlomo Cohen Horowitz. Rabbi Shlomo Cohen Horowitz, born 220 years ago, plus minus, in Poland. And in his book, Tiferet Shlomo, okay, the splendid of Shlomo, if you translate it to English, he says something very interesting, Rabotai, and it's very applicable to those days. That if you want people to fear from us, it's mentioned in this. The remedy, the answer in this verse. ומורעכם וחיתכם יהיה על כל חיית הארץ ועל כל עוף השמיים. בכל אשר תרמוס באדמה בכל דגי הים. If you want people, animal, birds, all kind of the animal in the sea, or any animal, any human being, to be fear of you, it depends on one thing. It depends what your fear of heaven. If a person have a lot of fear of heaven and is very careful with mitzvot, everyone going to fear from him. The animals, the fear, all kind of species going to be a fear of him. If a person is a righteous man and he have the fear of heaven and everything that he do, he said to himself, is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu want me to do? If that's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want me to do, I'm worried. I'm not going to do it. That's the remedy that animals, whoever on earth, whoever fly in a heaven, in the sky, whoever underneath the sea, all kind of species, going to be fear from that man. So here, say Rabbi Shlomo Horowitz, Rabbi Shlomo Cohen Horowitz, he say, here's the remedy. You want the remedy? I'll give you the remedy. If you want people to fear from you, it depends on your fear of heaven. That's the remedy. Isn't that amazing? When I saw that, I say, if we have a bit of fear of heaven, who's going to come near us? Unbelievable. I would like to conclude in verse, let's end up in verse 3. It says something very interesting here, and we have to understand what the Torah tried to tell us. In verse 3, chapter 9, verse 3, כל רמז אשר הוא חי לכם, יהיה לאוכלה, כירק, עשב, נתתי לכם את הכל.
Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. Like the green herbage, I have given you everything.
Okay. What does that verse tell us? So, Hazal tell us in Talmud, in Masechet Sanhedrin, Nun Tet Amud Bet, that means 59, folio 2. Listen to that, Rabotai. Adam HaRishon was not allowed to eat meat. What is all of that generation eaten until after the flood? They was eating vegetables and fruit. Fruit and vegetables. Fruit and vegetables. Come the Mefarshim, and on top of them standing Rabbi Haim ben Attar. Rabbi Haim ben Attar in his commentary Or HaChaim HaKadosh. Ask, wait, I don't understand. How come from Adam HaRishon until Noah came out of the Teva, no one was allowed to eat meat? After Noah came, after the generation of the flood, suddenly they're allowed to eat meat. What is the Hidush? One is Hazal tried to tell us in a Gemara, Masechet Sanhedrin, in 59, folio 2. What's the Hidush? Why Adam HaRishon, from Adam HaRishon, until after the flood, not allowed to eat meat? After the flood, you're allowed to eat meat. What was the Hidush here? So said the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Haim ben Attar, he said like this. He bringing 3 answers. The first answer that he said like this. He said that in the merit, okay, of Noah, okay, he actually saved all the animals. Therefore, after he came from the Teva and all the earth, all whatever was on earth wiped off, he saved the animal. Therefore, people now allowed to eat meat. That's one answer, because he saved the animal. Another explanation, he said not only because he saved them, because Noah looked after them, Noah fed them, Noah cleaned where they was. It was not simple. Noah worked for 12 months like atrocious. He didn't have, it was a work for 24/7 after all of those animals, the kosher and the non-kosher. He saw in the merit of that, he entitled to eat meat. He said, I'll give you another interpretation. Noah, when he came out of the Teva, what has he done? He brought sacrifice to HaKadosh Baruch Hu from the kosher animal. And that's what he took 7 from the non-kosher animal. Not 2, like from the non-kosher animal. It's come to tell you something very interesting. It's come to tell you that by that he brought sacrifice that to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he sacrificed to HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised Noah what? That he's not going to bring any more flood to the world. In that merit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu allowed him also to eat those animals that he sacrificed. So from here we learn that before the flood, everyone was eating fruit and vegetable. But after the flood, becomes a permission to eat meat. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that Rabotai, it's 9 o'clock, it's our shiur, I'm not going to take any more. It's come to teach us something very important. we learn today something very interesting. נוח איש צדיק תמים היה בתורותיו. את האלוהים יתהלך נוח. It's come to teach us that everything that we do, okay, in our life, everything that we have in mind, we have to remember that we have to see, is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for me? Is that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects for me to do? And if that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu expects from us to do, that's what we should do. How important is it, Rabotai, that we should have the fear of heaven? That if we have the fear of heaven, we're not going to do Averot. If we're not going to do Averot, the entire world is going to be fear of us. We have the fear on everyone. Be'ezrat Hashem, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless the Jewish people. Not only that, he will guard our soldier in the north, in the south, wherever they are, the member of the security forces, if it's the police, the intelligence, and he will guard the member of the Jewish people in the states of Israel, outside the states of Israel. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu speedily in our days, but with pleasant, not with Midat Adin. Be'ezrat Hashem, that we'll see Mashiach speedily in our days, in pleasant, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will redeem us with no more casualty and bring peace and tranquility to the world. Amen. Ken Yeratzon. Those of you that have questions, please ask. Bechavod. Unmute the microphone and ask question if you have. Bechavod.
Hello, it's Anthony. How are you?
Erev Tov, Anthony. It was nice seeing you. Bechavod.
When the Torah says the word Hamas in the Torah portion, what is it talking about there? What is the verse talking about?
Hamas that the Torah speak, it's about gezel, robbing. Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra, we speak about it in Shabbat. Rabbi Avraham Ibn Ezra say that Hamas, it's people that rob women, kidnap women. Those kind of people. Those people that rob, and not only that they rob money or rob things, okay, physical thing, they also rob human beings, steal human beings. They like to kidnap women.
So there's no coincidence happening in this week's Parsha. We'll be talking about what's happening in Israel. There's no coincidence.
There is coincidence. Hazal tell us that whatever happened in the world, and you read in the Parsha, there is coincidence. Because Hamas did kidnap women, did rape women.
Yes. So it's connected.
Hamas did rob the Jewish people. They tried to rob, but we saw that when they've been catched up, they took credit card of people and they transferred the money to their own account while they was robbing. That's the media doesn't tell you. When they rob people in their house, they transfer the money from their account to their account. Horrible what's happened. Beseder, Anthony?
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.
Pleasure. Any other question? Bechavod. No more question?
Yes.
Jeffrey?
Yes,
Bechavod.
a couple of more questions. You mentioned with Noah that when he went into the Teva, he could have actually stayed in the land of Israel because there's no water there. There was no flood in that land.
כן, זה גמרא מסכת זבחים ק"י"ג עמוד ב'. That means the Talmud, גמרא מסכת זבחים 113 folio 2. נכון. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yohanan.
That's opinion. My question on that would be, if that was the case, then there must have been surviving people in that part of the world. in the land. There must have been animals and people that survived without going into the teva.
נכון. So where they are? Where they are?
What, the animals?
The animals, the human being that was in Eretz
Yeah.
Israel. No one was there. Akadosh Baruch Hu, the same like he not brought the Mabul to Eretz
Okay.
Israel, can make sure that no one gonna be there.
Okay.
You understand? Let me
Yeah.
explain to you. Akadosh Baruch Hu say that until the Jewish people gonna come to the land of Eretz Israel, only when the Jewish people gonna come to the land of Eretz Israel, then you see the prosperity of Eretz Israel. Until then, the land of Eretz Israel gonna be like the wilderness, like a desert. And when the Jewish people came at the beginning to the land of Eretz Israel, the Rambam, the great eagle, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon,
Yes.
said, he born in Cordova 883 years ago. 80, yeah. He says something very interesting. Listen. He said like this. He said when he came to Eretz Israel, he saw only two Jewish people. And both of them was two brothers, and there was painters. He said that the land of Eretz Israel was shmama, desolate, and the land of Eretz Israel was desolate. Nothing growing. If you look at Eretz Israel before 1948, before 67, before the Kippur War, 75,
Yeah.
before the 90s, before the year 2000, you can't compare what we have today. The Jewish people brought prosperity to the land of Eretz Israel. I want to explain. You all hear about Gush Katif. Gush Katif was Gan Eden when the Jews was there. When the Jews left Gush Katif, immediately the occupation gone to Gaza. What did they done? They burn all the shul, they burn everything. What there is today in Gush Katif, go look at Gush Katif, desolated land. Nothing. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised that the land of Eretz Israel will bring her prosperity only when Jews live there. You follow, Jeffrey?
Yes. So here we've come out of Mitzrayim, we've arrived there, and this was the aim of Hashem, to bring us into the land, to make it prosperous, that we become prosperous, that we can live.
Yeah. Nachon.
So that was that
was the plan.
That's
the plan did work. But
yes.
Where the plan gone wrong, when we didn't listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell us, if you're not going to get rid of those nations in your land, they're going to be abomination to you. And we see, we left them. You know, Mr. One Eye, Moshe Dayan, you remember him?
Yeah, very well.
1967.
Yes.
When the Muslim was flooding, running for their life, who stopped them? And who gave the Mufti the key? HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I've given you a Torah. What is a Torah? It's a manual. I'm telling you how to behave. I'm telling you, if you're not going to get rid of those strangers in your land, they're going to be abomination to you. They didn't get rid of them. That's what we got. I'm going to send you a video. I'm going to send you a video, beautiful video about it, and then you'll understand it better.
Rav, can I say something? Can I add to what you've just said?
Bechavod, bechavod.
You know, I remember I went to Gush Katif, and I'll never forget when it still belonged to us. When you drive into Gaza, the border, going to Gush Katif, it's like a midbar. It was desolate. When you see the Jewish settlements, not only Gush Katif, but I saw others, Neve Dekalim, it was mamish like an oasis. There was greenery, there were gardens, there were buildings, there was life. And you look outside the borders of Gush Katif when I was there, when I went to visit it, it was like so bad. The land was so, I don't know, it was two different worlds. It really
I want
was.
to tell
In
you
Gaza,
something.
I saw it with my own eyes. I wish I would have videoed it. I took pictures, but the contrast was so stark to see what the Yidden had done there. How they built a Gan Eden in a midbar, and then it was all destroyed. And today it's mamish like it's such a
Listen,
bad
I
place.
live,
Yeah, desolate.
I live in Jerusalem for 23 years of my life. I'm born in Jerusalem. My family is now, we are 10 generation in Eretz Israel. My grandfather started Egin. They built the country. They killed my grandfather. Remember I showed you the book, Dr. Les? When I grown up, my parents took me to see where was the border. My father showed me, say, here was the border between us. The distance was from my house to the Jordanian is plus minus 700 meters, not more. Not more. When I was a little baby, I was 2 years old, the bullet was flying through the shutters of my parents' house because we didn't have bomb shelters. Unheard of. My father showed me where was the border. I remember I was maybe 7 years old, and I looked, how is that used to be? And what today when I go to those areas, whenever I go to Eretz Israel to visit my family in Jerusalem, and I see, and I remember what was before, I was 7. All of those, even less, maybe 5 years old, I remember all of those. My father used to say to me, here's that, here's that. And I remember what's happening today. It's unheard of. Completely complete. It's completely changed. And that's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised us, when you're going to come to the land of Eretz Israel, she will give you the prosperity. But if you're not there, it's going to be a desolate place. Everything going to be desolated. You follow, Jeffrey?
Yes.
If you have any other question.
Rob, you mentioned about the two souls. It mentioned Noah twice.
Yes. Why is it mentioned Noah? Yes.
Mentioned twice. In fact, he's actually mentioned 3 times in the first verse.
Nachon, but no, what I meant, Noah.
Yes.
Noah, Ish Tzaddik. Why one after each other? Because I explained, you can say Noah. Okay? Noah, Ish Tzaddik. It's a Noah, Tzaddik. Haya bedorotav. Why you say Noah? Noah, Ish Tzaddik haya tamim bedorotav.
Yeah.
You don't have to say that. Noah, Ish Tzaddik tamim haya bedorotav. Why do you say Noah twice? So you have a soul here, and we have a soul on heaven. That's according to the mystical. Okay? That whatever mitzvah that you do here, immediately it's reflect in the heaven.
Well, what you've just taught us, if you go one verse back, and it says Vanoach Matzah Chain, well, there you got it twice as well. The Chain, if you take the word Chain as you mentioned earlier and you move it around, it's Noah. He's mentioned twice again. So it's a hint of a soul.
But dual soul. That Noah find the remedy how to find favor in the eyes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Okay, thank you, Rav.
Okay. Guys, I hope that you enjoy the show.
Sure.
I just want to mention to everyone, those of you that, please God, can, on Shabbos, I'm going to give a live show at Yeshiva College. It's around 4:30, an hour before Mincha, just to let everyone know, those of you that can. On Shabbos, we usually don't repeat the show, bringing a new interpretation, more in the depth, more with the Zera Shimshon, more about the Pardes, Pshat Remes Drash Sod, more according to the Sod, what's hiding behind everything. And those of you that can, I would like to see you on Shabbos at Yeshiva College in a big shul at 4:30, plus minus an hour before Mincha. In the meantime, I would like to thank all of you for joining us in the show and to wish all of you a great Shabbos, a safe Shabbos, a Shabbos that's full of, please God, prosperity, spiritually, and a lot of peace to us.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us and have a great evening, everyone.
Amen.
Thank you.